Thank you, Juan. And good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Urbana-Champaign. We are a people of many ages, histories, genders, bodies, identities, and beliefs. And we are connected in our commitment to our mission to build community, seek inspiration, promote justice, and find peace. My name is Reverend Beth Monholland. My pronouns are she, hers. I am a very short white woman with dark curly hair and glasses, wearing a really big smile because I have the joy of serving as the lead minister to this congregation and of welcoming you to our service today. For all of those joining us here in our sanctuary and via our YouTube live stream, I am so grateful that you have taken time on this beautiful Sunday in April to gather together and tend to your spirits. I trust this morning that you will receive what your heart most needs. If you are a visitor today, we extend you a special welcome and invite you to fill out a guest card. If you would like to stay connected to the congregation, to learn more about the life of this church, just fill that out. We'll add you to our weekly e-news. You can drop that in the offering plate later in the service. You may also notice that some of your neighbors are wearing lanyards. Our color-coded lanyards are a way for us to indicate to each other how much distance in these endemic times we'd like to keep. So if someone is wearing a yellow or red lanyard, that means maybe they would really just like you to wave at them from a distance. And as always, you should ask for consent before you hug anybody. This is one of the many ways that we care for each other in community. As I mentioned, we are a congregation of all ages, which means we welcome the noises and distractions that kids might bring into a Sunday morning. And while children are always invited to stay here for the entirety of the service, our Sunday morning faith development classes will be taking place today, immediately following the time for all ages noted in your order of service. But no matter your age, if you find it easier to listen and pay attention when you keep your hands busy, we have coloring packets out in the entryway, and we also have some sensory tools, various things. Last week, I fidgeted with something the whole service. This week, I have a little ring that's a little more subtle, but if you need something like this too, feel free to help yourself and just put it back at the end of service so others can use it next week. And now that I have greeted you, I would like to invite you to greet each other. I'll ring our chime and invite you to turn to a neighbor, or if you're feeling sprightly, move around the room, say hello and introduce yourself. And if you're joining us on our YouTube live stream, just drop a hello and where you're from in the chat. And I'll ring our chime when it is time for us to come back together. Thank you, everyone, for those lively greetings. You are invited to keep the conversations flowing after service and fellowship hour, where we will have coffee and tea and water. And because it is Team F, today is their last Sunday. Team F stands for Fabulous Bakers Extraordinaire. There will be lots of things for you to snack on during fellowship hour as well. And bring a baggie when Team F is on, everybody. Well, it is my honor this morning to welcome our pulpit guest. Natasha Walker is the Executive Director of the UU Advocacy Network of Illinois. Natasha entered that role at the beginning of this year after a long search, and the team who hired her is so glad she said yes to them. Her background in HR and global operations at Google and Disney, her experience at Black Lives of UU, combined with her identity as a Black single mom with neurodiverse children, gives her a unique perspective on UU social justice efforts. Natasha is a longtime member of First Unitarian Church of Chicago and will soon complete the spiritual direction program at Meadville Lombard Theological School. We are honored to welcome Natasha as our guest today and continue to learn from her and to work with her in UUANI in the months to come. Please welcome Natasha with me, everyone. We begin our services officially with lighting our chalice. A flaming chalice has been one symbol of Unitarian Universalism for many decades. It's a symbol of the spark of hope, of reason, that light of the divine that shines in all of us. We join our siblings in faith each Sunday by lighting our chalice here in our sanctuary. For those joining us online, we invite you to light a flame wherever you may be. And Natasha will lead us in our chalice lighting words as I light the chalice this morning.
Good morning. Start by unknown, and it was told to me that when something is unattributed, it is typically thought that it was created by a marginalized person who was kind of shuttled to the side. So I like to think about that. Start small. Start at the beginning. Start with imperfections. Start at a pace you can sustain. Start without an end point in mind. Start knowing you will make mistakes. Start with the information you have now. Start knowing that you are on a winding path. The quickest way to succeed is to start and figure it out as you go. You'll learn more in motion than you ever will in thought.
And now I invite you to rise in body or spirit for our opening song, one of my favorites, and perhaps yours, number 1028 in our teal hymnal, The Fire of Commitment.
So
you all. Natasha has a story for us this morning for our Time for All Ages. I believe she has a storybook. And so for our littles and young people, I shouldn't say little, Theo, who is maybe a few decades younger than me, did inform me this morning he's officially taller than me. So it's fine, it's fine. He wasn't a year ago, but he is now. So for our young people and our young at heart who want to get a closer look at this story, you are invited to come up. We have lots of room in the front pew, and of course here on the floor around the pulpit, and I'll just invite Natasha to come up.
This is called We Are the Scrappy Ones by Rebecca Tossig and pictures by Kirby Fagan. Let's see if I can finagle. Hello, Starlight. These pages are for you. They're for you and me and the whole constellation of beings with complicated bodies and minds. We are the scrappy ones. We live, we adapt, we defy. Made of stardust and grit, we are spectacular. Our lives shake out the lies of old fables. The ones that say sick is the same thing as sad. Loss leaves no space for laughter, and sorrow must be solved by the end of the story. Our bodies and minds carry rich, fresh histories, and every single one is unique. We hold an ocean of variation. This is part of our strength. We have nothing to prove. We are always enough, just as we are. We've been cared for and kept alive by love and science and imagination. We use tools that showcase the best of human invention. We are the lush wildlife of medicine, adaptation, and collaboration. We are life in abundance. Sometimes we need help, but we are not a burden. The burden we carry is the weight of a world that wasn't built with us in mind. A world starved for creativity and flexibility. Some days we might feel like we don't belong, but darling, we are the very blueprints of home. When all of us are considered, builders and planners can transform this planet into a place where everyone belongs. We might move slowly or in zigzags or loops, but we thrum our own tempos to beautiful songs. We don't have to hear the notes with our ears or twirl with our feet to embody music. We are the dance moves of melodies waiting to be written. When the rules don't fit, we invent new ways to play. After all, we hold the clues for 1,000 new games. They are written into our limbs, sparking out of our fingertips, churning through our bellies, sprouting through our brains, buzzing through our very beings. You are a cherished part of the group, but you are also completely, distinctly you. You don't need to match anyone else in order to belong. All of this living, this adapting, this defying, can be exhausting. There's no shame in feeling it. When you need a break, take it. Rest like a cat curled up in a patch of sunshine. There might also be days when you feel all alone, like the only one in the entire galaxy who doesn't fit. But this is important. You are not alone. There were revolutionaries thinking of you before you were born, fighting to get this world ready for you. You will always be worth fighting for. Because you are as dazzling as a sky full of stars. You, just as you are, make this universe more beautiful.
That was a great story. And I want to thank all the kids for their attention and the grown-ups for their attention. And now our faith development volunteers and all of our young people are welcome to go down to their classrooms for their time together. Today, the majority of our young people are going to be thinking and exploring the possibilities of what it means to be an everyday superhero. And so you may recall, if you've been here for the month of April, and if you haven't, now you get to know that our theme in April is embracing possibilities. I sang you a song on the first Sunday of the month. It's this one, I'll sing it here on the last. Possibilities, there's endless possibilities. Juan played it for us. And so the young people are thinking about the possibilities they can embrace. And we together as adults are thinking of the same thing. As the story Natasha shared said, we are all worthy, we are all possible. It's the world that we need to remake to match our beauty. And we can do that together. But I have a reading for us this morning that's in the midst of a world. It's from Becoming by the Reverend Dr. Rebecca Parker, who is a longtime UU minister and theologian. So as we think about all those possibilities that our children are embracing, the possibilities we're all creating, let's think of what it means here in the world we actually are. And so I offer us these words from Reverend Dr. Rebecca Parker. In the midst of a world marked by tragedy and beauty, there must be those who bear witness against unnecessary destruction and who, with faith, rise and lead in freedom with grace and power. There must be those who speak honestly and do not avoid seeing what must be seen of sorrow and outrage, or tenderness and wonder. There must be those whose grief troubles the water while their voices sing and speak refreshed worlds. There must be those whose exuberance rises with lovely energy that articulates earth's joys. There must be those who are restless for respectful and loving companionship among human beings, whose presence invites people to be themselves without fear. There must be those who gather with the congregation of remembrance and compassion, draw water from old wells, and walk the simple path of love for neighbor. And there must be communities of people who seek to do justice, love, kindness, and walk humbly with God, who call on the strength of soul force to heal, transform, and bless life. There must be religious witness. Part of why we gather as a community, as a church, is to bear witness, to bear that religious witness that religion does not have to harm, it can draw the circle wide. And part of how we do that is to draw the circle wide for each other. We practice together what we hope to practice in the world. And so when we come together on Sundays, we make space for the wholeness of who we are. We do not ask you to leave parts of yourself outside these church doors, but to bring them here and to trust that in this community you will be seen and known and loved. And we do this in several ways on Sunday mornings, but one is through our rituals of joys and sorrows. You're invited, if there's a joy and sorrow you'd like shared aloud, to send it via email, especially those joining us online, but anyone here in the room, to joysandsorrows@uucuc.org, or fill out a joy and sorrow card. You'll see them in the pew racks and the ushers can bring them to you, and we'll read them aloud later in the service. But in this moment together, you'll be invited to come forward either to the chalice table here or the center back and light a candle. Light a candle for all that you are holding for yourself and the world today. Trust that your joys will be multiplied and your sorrows, at least in this hour, lightened by being shared with others. We'll sing our blessing song, May the Longtime Sun, and if you feel called to move, feel free to do so. If you want to just sit and let the music wash over you, that's okay too. Let us sing. We live our mission in many ways at this congregation, by connecting day to day with each other here in the church and through opportunities beyond our walls. I invite you to subscribe to and read the weekly e-news to stay up to date on all of our activities that are offered through Faith Development, Congregational Life, the Social Action Council. And this morning, I want to highlight a few things that are coming up in the coming weeks. Next Sunday, this is for families with littles who are enrolled in Faith Development, is our final official Sunday for Faith Development of the church year. On May 10th, we have our all-ages annual music service. I hope everyone will come for that. It's always a joyous occasion. And then on May 17th, I am very delighted, thrilled, beyond joy to announce to you all that our coming of age youth group is going to lead the full service that day. So that will also be all ages. You will get to hear and see and trust that behind the scenes as well, the kids are taking care of the whole service in one way or another. And so please, even though next week will be the last day that we have Faith Development downstairs for littles, there will be very special services for people of all ages over the next few weeks. I also want to invite you, speaking of Sunday services, to please save the date for June 7th. The first Sunday of June is our annual flower service. one of the favorites of the year. We will invite everyone to bring a flower to add to our communal bouquet and to take a different flower home. So please, please, please be sure you have that in your calendars. It's also important because right after service that day is our annual meeting. Yay, congregational life! Everybody wants to vote. There will be important votes, including on next year's budget, new board members, members who might want to attend GA, other congregational items that are determined by this congregation. You are the decision makers. So June 7th for annual flower service and congregational meeting. And then this is also for families. We are hosting our next and final Parents' Night Out of the church year on Saturday, May 2nd, just from 3 to 6 here at church with me and a whole bunch of U of I volunteers. Please register in Realm so we know how much food and treats and volunteers to schedule. There's a lot more going on, though, both within the community, through our social action partners, including some habitat builds and other things. So please do check out eNews and the full calendar of events in Realm. In honor and recognition of our very real interdependence and reliance on each other, we do take an offering each Sunday, passing the offering plate and sharing what we collect with an organization doing the work of justice in the world. Our shared offering partner for April is the Birth Equity Fund of UC Reproductive Justice. This is a local grassroots organization that works to ensure birthing people who identify as Black, Indigenous, or person of color have access to safe, respectful, and supportive births. This work is especially critical to reduce Black maternal mortality rates, which are 3 times higher than in white communities. UC Reproductive Justice builds community care at the crossroads of race and reproductive justice, and we are honored to support their work this month. You can give through Realm or via the online portal on our website, or if you're here in the sanctuary, our ushers will soon be passing our collection plates. If you are writing a check, be sure to put in the memo shared offering. Half of all non-pledge donations will go to the operations of this church. The other half go directly to our shared offering partner. This is also the time to submit a written joy or sorrow, so if you have something you'd like shared aloud, put that in the plate as well. For our offering music today, we are actually going to sing together hymn number 1024 in the teal hymnal, When the Spirit Says Do. I think I put it in the order of service. Yeah, we're going to sing do when the Spirit says do. We're going to sing when the Spirit says sing, and then move when the Spirit says move. And if the plate is still being collected, Juan will just keep playing and we'll all just keep singing whatever comes out of our mouths, because that's how we roll. But thank you so much. The music will begin and our offering will be gratefully received. Feel free to stand up if you need to. This is not where you can sit at. Spirit says do. Spirit says do. Spirit says do. Spirit says do. Sing when the Spirit says sing. Got to sing when the Spirit says sing. Thank you. Thank you, Juan. Thank you all for your generosity. I know that the ushers will check those plates for written joys and sorrows. I have a few that people brought to me. If you have something you'd like shared aloud, feel free to bring it up. I'm going to check our joys and sorrows emails for those who are submitting online. And I will try to find everything in the email. We have a joy from Pat McClard, which I bet is going to be echoed by a number of people, including me. A joy and gratitude for another successful UUC auction. Thanks to all the volunteers who helped make it happen. Indeed, our service auction, which is our annual fundraiser for the church, was last night, and it was joyous and fun. And if you helped with the auction in any way, raise your hand or stand up. Although I think a whole lot of those people are home sleeping, and that is okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And for everybody who donated items, everybody who donated desserts, and everybody who bid, thank you. By the way, you still can. You can still donate, and there's still some items that will be for sale. Check your email later this week from the auction committee. And this is a joy from Sam Bashirs, who was at the auction last night and took some of the delicious food made by our very own chef, Anthony Berenza, who cooked us an amazing New Orleans-themed meal. And folks got to take some home. So Sam says, a joy from muffaletta sandwiches for breakfast. Can't argue with that. This is a joy from Earl. I'm happy to celebrate my 81st birthday today, but sad that my wife, Linda, who passed away on March 3rd, won't be able to help me celebrate. Bittersweet, the joys and sorrows together. Sorry, some of it. From Jerry Carden, remembering my fabulous father Floyd today on what would have been his 102nd birthday. Tomorrow is the anniversary of his death 20 years ago. Chris Hanauer, I knew there would be an auction joy in here. Joy for our wonderful and generous congregation who raised nearly $20,000 for our church home at last night's service auction and while enjoying a great party. It was a wonderful time made possible by your auction committee and their ringer, Chef Anthony Berenza, and the many people who donated their time and energy. Amen, Chris. I think that's all online at the moment. Here in the room, Frankie shared, my dairy allergy of 9 years is now in spontaneous remission, according to the allergist. Well, that sounds like someone needs some cheese to celebrate. I lived in Wisconsin a long time. From Cindy Ingold, after resting my body and spirit the last few months, I am overjoyed to be back in this space. It feels like coming home. We're glad you're here, Cindy. This is from Beth Simpson. In 2005, Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans, and I was living there working with Curtis Muhammad on white people coming to terms with Black people in the USA. I didn't know what to do. Curtis decided to go, and I decided to go too. Thus began a deep sorrow to more than nature, but a ringing in my heart to and beyond this day. 21 years. Thank you, Beth. From Gail Tittle. Today is my brother Bob Camp's birthday. He died last June, totally unexpectedly, of heart failure at 71, just 7 weeks after his wife died, and I miss him so. Happy birthday to those who have left us. From Melissa Shepline, thinking of the McGlathery family who will gather this afternoon here at 2 p.m. to celebrate the life of a loving, kind, curious, action-oriented Nancy McGlathery, a 50-plus year member of this congregation. Nancy did indeed join here on May 3rd, officially 1972. Nancy will be missed by many, and she would have loved today's We Are the Scrappy Ones story. For those who didn't see that announcement, if you knew the McGlatheries or knew Nancy and want to pay your respects, as Melissa shared, the service does begin at 2 p.m. and there will be a reception to follow in Fellowship Hall. And then one final joy, and this is from young Theo, who is now taller than me and left us to go to his class. Theo shares, for his baseball season. I hit a home run yesterday and we won the game, and I made the game-winning play. And today, right after service, Theo gets to go be the starting pitcher. So yay, Theo. I will check our email messages once more. And that's all that has come through to me at the moment. But I appreciate and thank you for the ways in which we make space for each other. And I would like to invite us into a moment of silence. I'll ring our singing bowl. And I just ask you to hold in your hearts everything that we have spoken aloud today and all that we are still silently carrying. And know in the silence that you are held in love. I have one more reading for us this morning. Some of you are probably familiar with this, have heard some parts of it one way or another in your activist organizing social justice lives. This is often titled, "We Are the Ones We Have Been Waiting For." It was inspired by a poem from June Jordan and attributed to Hopi elders. It is a letter that the Hopi elders of the nation of the Orabi, Arizona wrote. It is a poem, reflection, vision of the future. And it begins this way. We have been telling the people that this is the 11th hour. Now we must go back and tell the people that this is the hour. And there are things to be considered. Where are you living? What are you doing? Are you in right relation? What is your water? Where is your water? Know your garden. It is time to speak your truth. Create your community. Be good to each other. And do not look outside yourself for the leader. This could be a good time. There is a river flowing now very fast. It is so great and swift that there are those who will be afraid. They will try to hold on to the shore. They will feel they are being torn apart, and they will suffer greatly. Know that the river has its destination. The elders saw that we must let go of the shore and push off into the river. Keep our eyes open and our head above the water. See who is there with you and celebrate. At this time in history, we are to take nothing personally, least of all ourselves. For the moment that we do, our spiritual growth and journey comes to a halt. The time of the lone wolf is over. Gather yourselves, banish the word struggle from your attitude and your vocabulary. All that you do now must be done in a sacred manner and in celebration, for we are the ones we have been waiting for.
Friends, loved ones, seekers of a more beautiful world, welcome. It's a profound honor to stand before you today in this space of radical welcome, which I felt profoundly last night, so I appreciate you welcoming me and having me come. It was an amazing event. I stand here as a fellow Unitarian Universalist and as the executive director of the Unitarian Universalist Advocacy Network of Illinois, or UUANI. How many of us have experienced that deep, quiet pull? That internal vibration telling you when something is deeply right or profoundly, heartbreakingly wrong. We Unitarian Universalists have a name for that. We call it conscience. It is a compass we carry. Our tradition is not built on mandatory dogma. It is built on the brave, moral imperative to live out the convictions of that inner voice. As I look out at this community, nestled in the heart of the Grand Prairie, I am reminded that Urbana-Champaign is a place of profound intersections. It's a micro-urban oasis where world-class innovation meets the deep-tilled earth of the Corn Belt. A community that thrives on the tension between the ivory tower and the main street. A place that understands that high-level theory means nothing if it doesn't improve the lives of the people living just a few blocks away on the quad. Let's be real. The air is heavy. We come into this sanctuary carrying the weight of a world that feels increasingly volatile. We see the news alerts before our first cup of coffee. Families seeking safety met with wire at the border. The rollback of environmental protections. The continued suspension of SNAP benefits. It's a bitter irony to live in a county that helps feed the world, yet has neighbors wondering where their next meal is coming from. And then there is the absurdity. Have you looked at the news lately? We are living in a time where we have AI that can write a mediocre sonnet in 3 seconds, but we can't figure out how to keep the potholes on Lincoln Avenue from swallowing a mid-sized sedan. We have billionaires launching cars into space while we struggle to fund a basic bus route for a senior trying to get to Christie Clinic. If we didn't have a sense of humor about the sheer ridiculousness of our current systems and reality, we'd all be under our covers with a box of wine. Even here in the Twin Cities, we feel the shifting ground. We see the for lease signs in Campus Town. Rest in peace to the third spaces where students and townies used to mix over questionable coffee. We see the rising cost of living in a place that used to be a refuge of affordability. When the literal and figurative infrastructure of our lives begins to show cracks, the actual world feels so overwhelming that possibility feels like a luxury we can't afford. When the news cycle is a constant drumbeat of no. No to healthcare, no to housing, no to basic dignity, the temptation is to retreat. We hope that if we ignore the world might return the favor. But I'm here to suggest that embracing possibility is not a form of escapism. It is our spiritual work. It is the refusal to let the current state of affairs have the final word on what is possible. My path to this role is not a straight line. I get the question a lot. Why are you doing this? I spent years in corporate boardrooms at Google and Disney, mastering strategy and efficiency. I know how to take complex, unsolvable problems and design elegant solutions. I know how to look at a mess and discern a map. But I've often been the only person in those rooms who looked like me. I know the exhaustion of code switching, of translating my soul into a language that power understands just to get a seat at the table. My resume tells a story of success, but my bones tell a story of survival. I come to you as a Black woman, navigating a world that often asks for my labor but ignores my humanity. I come as a single mother who knows the possibility of a $20 bill and the miracle of making it stretch for 3 days. I know the invisible labor that keeps our families afloat while the systems designed to support them are being dismantled. Most pivotally, I was raised on the Navajo Reservation. In that high desert landscape, poverty wasn't a concept, it was a neighbor. But on the res, I also learned about the 7th generation principle, the idea that our choices today must be measured by their impact on those who will walk the earth long after we're gone. I understood early that if you're walking a path and you can't see a way out, eventually you just stop walking. But if you have a persistence of imagination, you don't just look for a path, you start digging. When you exist at the intersection of several marginalized identities, possibility isn't a Hallmark card sentiment. It's a strategic necessity. When the world tells you that you shouldn't exist, or that your people are vanishing, or that your neighborhood is blighted, the act of imagining a thriving future is a revolutionary act. I'm an 80s latchkey kid, part of a generation that learned early how to navigate systems without a manual. We were the kids who came home to empty houses, watched The Price is Right alone, and figured out how to make a gourmet meal out of whatever was in the pantry. That let's get it done attitude is exactly what I bring to our advocacy. While I value the work, I am tired of just resisting. Resistance is defensive. It is reacting to someone else's agenda. I want us to propose, and I want us to win. This is where UUANI comes in. Urbana-Champaign obviously has social justice in its DNA. From the history of labor organizing to the student-led movements that have shaken this state for decades. If your local work is the engine, UUANI is the transmission. We shift our collective power into high gear. We are in Springfield, lobbying to bridge the gaps left by federal benefit cuts. We have to be, because the numbers tell a story that our hearts already know. In Champaign County, we often see a tale of two cities. While the university brings immense wealth and resources, the poverty rate in this county hovers between 18 to 20%, significantly higher than the state average. And as a Black woman, I cannot ignore the racialized nature of that suffering. In this region, the poverty rate for Black neighbors is nearly triple that of white residents, depending on zip code. We see stark disparities in healthcare across access between the shiny new medical complexes and the neighborhoods in North Champaign, where the healthcare desert is a daily reality. We see a housing crisis where luxury student apartments with rooftop pools rise while our unhoused neighbors seek warmth in the shadows of those very buildings. When SNAP benefits were slashed, it wasn't an abstract policy debate. It was an empty plate for a family near King School. It was the choice between textbooks and a meal for a student at Parkland. My experience as a single mother tells me that no parent should have to perform a miracle every Tuesday just to feed their kids. We are working to ensure that property tax spikes don't displace our seniors in Urbana who have lived in their homes for 50 years. We are working to ensure that Illinois remains a sanctuary for reproductive rights and gender-affirming care. We connect 34 Illinois congregations to fight these systemic inequities. When one congregation speaks, it's a solo. When 34 congregations from the North Shore to right here in the Twin Cities speak together, it's a moral chorus that the state capitol cannot ignore. We transform your individual actions of the week into a spiritual infrastructure that builds a path towards a new possibility. Friends, our commitment to justice is a spiritual discipline. And I'll be blunt, we cannot afford maybe later. The forces of dehumanization are moving now. They are organized, they are funded, they are counting on our despair. Despair is cozy, doesn't require you to do anything because everything is ruined anyway. It's the ultimate spiritual quiet quitting. But as someone who has lived on the margins, I can tell you, despair is a luxury. If you have skin in the game, if your health care, your housing, or your children's future is what's being debated, you don't have time to be nihilistic. You have to be possible. Action is the necessity. Embracing possibility means choosing to believe in a better Illinois, especially when the evidence is thin. Not knowing what to do is not a reason to do nothing. If you don't know where to start with the person next to you. UUANI is here to give you the what and the how so that your why has a place to land. The elders on the Navajo Reservation taught me that we borrow the earth from our children, and I believe that's true of justice as well. Our justice work is the debt we owe to the future. Someone, somewhere, faced daunting odds against Jim Crow, against the erasure of indigenous culture, against the exploitation of the prairie, and they decided to imagine a world that included us. I think of the activists who walked these very streets decades ago, fighting for racial integration and fair housing, They didn't have a guarantee of success. They had a persistence of imagination. They saw the otherwise. As we move into the heat of this legislative session, I promise to bring my whole self, my strategy, my Navajo-raised persistence, my corporate-honed efficiency, and my single mother's grit. But I can't do it alone. My call to you is to bring your whole self too. Bring your anger at the news. Use it as fuel. Bring your hope for the future. Use it as a compass. Bring your humor, because if we can't laugh at the absurdity of some of this, we'll never have the energy to fix any of these policies. We are meeting a moment that seeks to isolate us. It tells the mother in Urbana struggling to find childcare that it is her own fault. It tells the worker in Champaign that their low wages are a personal failure. But when we embrace possibility together, we center care. We move from the fragility of the individual to the resilience of the collective. We are actively and deliberately building something for our neighbors in Champaign County and beyond. We are weaving a tapestry of care across the state of Illinois. We are building a place where love wins and equity is the baseline. We are doing it with the same stubborn, beautiful, unreasonable hope that has sustained Unitarian Universalists throughout history. The hope that led us to the front lines of the civil rights movement, and the hope that keeps us fighting for a world where everyone has enough. In the corporate world, we call it disruptive innovation. In the spiritual world, we talk about revelation. But in the justice world, it is possibility. And it is a bridge between the two. It is the moment when we look at the wire at the border, the empty cupboards, and the housing crisis and say, this is not the end of this story. We are choosing to see the path, even when it is still being paved. We are choosing to act here in Urbana-Champaign, knowing that together we can move the powers in Springfield and across Illinois. May we be the ones who imagine. May we be the ones who organize. May we be the ones who win. Amen and Ashe. Thank you.
Well, I don't know about you all, but that was the word I needed today. Thank you. Thank you. And dear ones, I'm going to invite you to rise in body or spirit for our closing song. Blue Boat Home, yeah? Yeah, sorry. I'm looking down. I'm just like, I don't know where I am anymore. Number 1064 in your teal hymnal, Our Blue Boat Home. Let's sing it joyously as the prayer that it is.
Oh
For closing words, Lessons in Trying to Save the World by Nikita Gill. If you name it hope instead of impossible, if you hold it with tenderness, if you call it the blessing of your ancestors, if you look around and see the faces of everyone you love trying to save the world with you, then this work becomes love, and even mountains will move.
And join us collectively, everyone, in saying our chalice extinguishing words. They're in your order of service and on the screen. I'll begin us. We extinguish this flame. But not the light of truth, the warmth of